Today's tutorial is going to be how to make this fantastic flower. It is quite large, as you can see. It fits in the palm of my hand, but you can make it as large or as small as you like. This one is a little bit smaller. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. And don't forget to rate, subscribe and share a comment. Thank you. We're going to start with a slip knot, wrapping your yarn over your finger twice, holding onto your yarn, pulling your left loop over and off, wrapping your yarn again, grabbing your left loop, pulling it over and off. We've now created our slip knot. Now what we want to do is make a chain, and the multiple of this pattern is 3 plus 1. If you're going to use single crochet, if you're going to use half double crochet, it's 3 plus 2. So 1, 2, 3. It's not long enough, so keep going. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And we want to keep going until it is about 60 centimeters. Now, depending on how you make your chain will be how big your flower is. And of course the wool and the size of your hook will matter as well. I'm using a 4mm hook and 8-ply yarn. So after we have our sets of 3, if you're going to do a single crochet on this row, you want to chain 1. If you're going to do a half double crochet, you want to chain 2. I'm going to do half double crochet, so I want to chain 2. So I'm holding this first stitch here, not the one on the loop, on the hook, the one there. So chaining 2, 1 and 2, and then wrapping our yarn, going back into that stitch that we were holding, pulling up a loop. We have 3 on the hook, yarning over and pulling through all 3. We want to repeat that all the way to the end of our chain. When we get to the end, we want to chain 3. Turn our work around, and we want to go into the third space, third stitch, with a single crochet. Chain 3, skip 2 in the next space, single crochet, chain 3, skip 2 in the next space, single crochet, and you want to repeat that all the way till you get to the other end. Once we get to the end, if you have extra stitches left over or not enough, don't panic, don't start crying, don't throw your crochet ring across the room or swear or anything like that. It doesn't matter, because you will not notice. As long as you have that chain 3 there, just go into that last space with a single crochet, because you will, trust me, you won't notice it at all, because we cover up this single crochet row, so you don't notice it at all. Okay, so on with our next part. Chaining 1. Want to spin the work around. You should have something looking like this. And from now on, we are going to be working into the chain spaces. So our first stitch is our single crochet. That's what our chain 1 counts as. Our next stitch is our half double crochet, wrapping our yarn around, going into the stitch, into the loop, yarning over, pulling up a loop. We have 3 on our hook, yarning over and pulling through 3. The next stitch is going to be our double crochet stitch. So that's yarning over, going into the loop, yarning over, pulling through. We have 3, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2. The next stitch is our treble stitch. That's wrapping our yarn twice, going into the loop, yarning over, pulling up a loop. We have 4 on our hook, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over and pulling through 2. Our next stitch is our double treble, so that's 1, 2, 3 wraps, yarning, going into our loop, yarning over, pulling up a loop. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on our hook, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2. So that has created the height that we need for our petal. Now we want to go back down the other side. So we now need to do a treble, so that's wrapping twice, going into our space, yarning over, pulling up a loop. We have 4 on our hook, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2. Next stitch is our double crochet, that's wrapping once into our loop, yarning over, pulling up a loop. We have 3 on our hook, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2. Our next stitch is our half double crochet, so that's yarning over, going into the loop, pulling up a loop, yarning over, pulling through all 3, and the next stitch is our single crochet. Now if you can't remember that without the video, it's a single crochet, a half double crochet, a double crochet, a treble, which is wrapping twice, double treble, we wrap our yarn 3 times, coming back down the other side, it's a treble, which is when we wrap twice, a double crochet, a half double crochet, and a single crochet. And that will give you that curved effect of the petal, because you are starting with a short stitch going up in height to the tip, which is our double treble, is our longest stitch, and then going back down in height down to our other side. So let's do that again. We're just going to single crochet into this space here, then we're going to do a half double crochet, so that's wrapping our yarn going into the loop, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarning over, pulling through all 3. The next one is a double crochet, yarning over into the loop, yarning over, pulling up a loop, that's 3 on our hook, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2. The next stitch is our treble stitch, that's wrapping our yarn twice, going into the loop, yarning over, pulling up a loop. We have 4 on our hook, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over and pulling through 2. The next stitch is our double treble, so that's wrapping 3 times. Into the loop, yarning over, pulling up a loop. We have 5 on our hook, yarning over, pulling through 2, through 2, through 2 and through 2. We now need to go work down the other side. So that's a double treble, that's a treble, which is 2 stitches on your hook, yarning into the loop, yarning over. We have 4, yarning over through 2, through 2 and through 2. The next stitch is a double crochet. The next stitch is a half double crochet. And the last stitch is a single crochet. And we want to work that all the way across till we get to the other end. So you should have something looking like this, and it is going to start to curl around. That's perfectly normal. When we get to the end, we want to finish off and leave about a 12 to 14 inch tail. And then just pulling up our loop, we want to thread our needle. So what we want to do now is create our flower. And it'll be all twisted around like that, that's fine. We can untwist it as we go. So what we're going to do is this is the good side of our work, that's the bad side. So we're just going to be folding that over to create the first petal. And then we're just going to be rolling up the single crochet row is what we're doing. We're just rolling that around. And as we go, we are going to be securing our stitches. I'm just going through there, and then rolling it over. We're just going to secure the stitches again. And as we go, we're just going to be securing down our stitches. Now, depending on how you roll this flower is depending on the look that you'll finally get. You can roll it around and around and around like that, or you can start to gradually work your way out. So this part is laying flat, and it will gradually get wider at the bottom, and you're creating a flat piece rather than winding it up and having this bit that sticks up at the top there like that. So I'm going to work with the flat one. So I'm just going to be working it flat. And then stitching that. Twisting it around and laying it flat. Twisting it around. I'm keeping this flat. And of course, as you go, flip it over, make sure it's looking good. Make sure you have your petals where you want them. It's good to stagger the petals if you can, rather than have them all in the same spot. So you might need to stretch it or gather it up a little piece. Fridge has started. I've just given away my secret. I film my tutorials next to my fridge, which might sound really, really strange, but that is where I get the best light in the house. Our fridge is near a window, so that's where I sit. And for those of you who don't know, my workspace is actually my ironing board with a piece of black fabric over the top so you can't see it. And I'm sitting behind my camera that is on a tripod, so that will help you if you want to make a few tutorials of your own. So see how the bottom is flat there? There we go. And just working our way around. There we go. So we're just going to work all the way around. Now, because we're laying it flat, our petals are working its way out and making the flower bigger. So just continue on until there we go. We have a flower finished. And thank you so much for watching my videos, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day or evening.